Look at your dog right now. Maybe it is sleeping at the foot of your bed, or maybe it is wearing a tiny sweater. 30,000 years ago, this animal was a terrifying, massive-jawed monster hunting your ancestors in the dark. You might assume some ancient human had the brilliant idea to capture a wild wolf pup and invent the concept of a pet. We didn't. Your dog is essentially a broken Ice Age predator that accidentally domesticated itself for our campfire leftovers. Before we look at how this accident happened, please hit the subscribe button. If you watch this entire video and don't subscribe, I have to legally assume you are a lone, undomesticated wolf who refuses to participate in the cooperative pack dynamics of this channel. Join the pack. To trace your golden retriever's origins, picture the brutal environment of the Ice Age. Ancient humans lived as hunter-gatherers in small bands, and at the edge of every camp, wolves waited in the shadows. Humans are incredibly messy eaters. We threw our bones, scraps, and half-eaten carcasses right outside the firelight. To a starving wolf, our trash heap looked like an all-you-can-eat buffet of free calories. Our inability to clean up after dinner provided the initial calories that sparked canine evolution. Approaching these human camps was highly dangerous. If a wolf was too aggressive, humans speared it. On the other extreme, if a wolf was too terrified to get close, it stayed deep in the freezing woods and eventually starved. A few individual wolves were born slightly friendlier and more curious than the rest. They managed to creep close enough to grab those scraps without triggering an attack. That steady food supply allowed these friendly wolves to survive the brutal winters. They lived longer and had more babies, who inherited that calm disposition. Over generations, they realized they didn't have to risk hunting giant, dangerous prey at all. Evolution filtered these animals based entirely on their personality. Friendliness became a superior survival tool to sharp teeth. But how does changing an animal's behavior physically alter its body shape? In 1959, a Soviet geneticist named Dmitry Belyayev ran a famous experiment with foxes in Siberia. He bred only the tamest foxes together, generation after generation, without ever training them to do tricks. He selected strictly for friendliness. Within decades, these foxes started acting exactly like dogs, whining and wagging their tails. Their bodies also changed. Science shows that as an animal becomes less aggressive, its physical appearance almost automatically becomes less intimidating. This is domestication syndrome. They develop softer faces, shorter snouts, patches of white fur, and floppy ears. Ancient proto-dogs started looking cuter long before humans intentionally bred them. Humans quickly realized these weird wolves were useful. A dog outside the camp could smell predators from miles away, acting as a living alarm system. This mutual benefit made dogs the earliest domesticated animal in history, long before sheep or cows. This partnership deepened as our lifestyle changed. When humans eventually transitioned from hunter-gatherers to farmers, our diet shifted toward grains and starches. Dogs stayed by our side through this transition, and their biology adapted once again, evolving the ability to digest the same agricultural foods that were now sustaining us. We also changed each other's brains. When you stare into your dog's eyes, both of you release oxytocin. This is the exact same hormone responsible for the emotional bond between human parents and their babies. Wolves do not do this with humans. Evolution shaped dog facial expressions, giving them those famous puppy dog eyes, specifically to trigger our caregiving instincts. This hormonal feedback loop turned a survival partnership into an emotional one. By physically and chemically adapting to human proximity, dogs ensured that we would feel an instinctive parental urge to protect them. This physical manipulation eventually came with a heavy cost. Humans began selectively breeding dogs into shapes that caused terrible health problems, creating bulldogs that struggle to breathe properly. We bred others for pure aesthetics, leading to dogs like dachshunds that suffer from high rates of spinal issues due to their unnaturally elongated backs. But underneath these modern shapes, traces of the Ice Age still remain. When your dog circles the living room rug before lying down, or twitches in their sleep, you are watching the lingering instincts of a wild predator surfacing in your home. Horses work for us, and cows tolerate us. Dogs actually joined us. They slept beside our fires and crossed frozen continents with us. In Germany, archaeologists found a 14,000-year-old grave containing a man, a woman, and a dog. The dog had been severely ill as a puppy, but survived for months. Those Ice Age humans spent their precious, hard-earned calories nursing a sick animal back to health. There was no master plan. It was just cautious animals creeping closer to the firelight, trading their fear for scraps, and accidentally becoming family.